So an apple a day really could keep the doctor away, and I'm going to use apples in the next recipe with one of their best mates, pork. This family favourite dinner of pork meatballs, apple gravy, protein-packed cannellini beans and fibre-rich oats will fill you full of the good stuff for just 591 calories per serving. We're not going to buy mincemeat, we're going to control things. We're going to use a beautiful cut of pork. This is the fillet of pork. It's widely available, it's really lean. It's lovely to use your meat and mince it yourself because you know what's in the mincemeat. And traditionally, mincemeat dishes, you know, meatloaf, burgers, meatballs, are kind of around 15 to 20% fat. And we want to kind of take it from an indulgent dish that's gorgeous, of course, to something that's superfood friendly. Slice your 450 grams of pork fillet into chunks. Add a 400-gram tin of drained cannellini beans. Great for packing in protein and fibre into your day. It's really good at stretching meat, and it's a great carrier of flavour, and it makes the meatballs light and delicious. Add 50 grams of oats. These whole grain beauties are good for your heart, lowering your blood pressure and keeping your cholesterol levels healthy. Add half a bunch of mint to the mix, and finally, a teaspoon of whole grain mustard. And we'll whiz that up. I just want to pulse it. I don't want this to be a puree, OK? Pulse, 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 keep an eye on it. And once it kind of looks like a nice coarse mincemeat, we're ready to go. And I'm happy with that. I'm going to fill a little dish up with some water. Whenever you're doing your meatballs, having a little bowl of water to keep your hands wet really helps you not getting messy and sticky. This amount of mixture should give you 20 meatballs about the size of a ping pong ball. For me, this is where superfood comes into its own because it's a way of thinking, it's a way of putting things together. It's about it being guaranteed, safe, good. What does good look like? Of course we want cakes, of course we want indulgence. That's what life is all about, and we don't want to take any of that away, but we do need to have good as well. And sometimes good can pretend to be good and it's not, or good ends up being bad. And if it's bad every day, everything goes pear-shaped. So for me, to be given a dish like this that feels naughty and is actually really, really good for you and your family and your friends, happy days. Let's have it. Right, there's 20 beautiful balls right there. Let's start the cooking, people. Get your pan on a medium-high heat, add a tablespoon of olive oil and throw in 4 of your meatballs. Let's break it up. Beautiful. I'm going to make what they would call in America a dirty style gravy. Now, don't be put off by the name. What it means is putting mincemeat into the gravy so it's got true flavour and it's a bit gnarly and rustic. I love it. Get 2 red onions, peel them, quarter them, and they're going in the pan. Give the pan a little shake. Beautiful. Next, 2 apples. Cut them into quarters and core them, but don't peel them. That's where the best stuff is. With the apples, obviously, we've got those pectins that are so fantastic at controlling your cholesterol, which is great. Add the apples to the pan, and after a couple of minutes, once they've softened up a bit, it's time to add a really strong flavour hit. We're going in with Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon. And so many flavours there. Beautiful, great with pork. Then we're going to go in with mustard. A nice heaped teaspoon of whole grain mustard. Add 2 tablespoons of wholemeal flour, which carries almost 3 times the fibre of white. Season it up, and then you want a litre of good quality chicken stock and bring it to the boil. You can see it's all thickening and starting to look gorgeous. Now is a time to just plop those lovely, shiny balls into that lovely gravy. In original meatball recipes, of course you need the fat to make it juicy and sumptuous. I get it, and I love it. But on a good day, and this is a good day, a healthy day, totally balanced meal, we're going to cheat around it by using the porridge yolks, by using the beans, by building a kind of really moist environment, which is a gravy, to cook it. Pop in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 Fahrenheit. And in 20 minutes, that liquid's going to cook down. It's going to be so comforting, so gorgeous. Wonderful, wonderful pot-roasted meatballs. Nice. Then take them out and grate over 30 grams of cheddar, enough to look beautiful and add some amazing flavour. And then I'm going to use these beautiful seeded wholemeal buns. After 3 more minutes back in the oven, it's ready. So guys, look at that. Come and have a look. This is a real family classic. So let's just plate up a portion. Get your nice roll in there. Just tear that open. To finish this off, I've got a lovely simple salad of rocket, watercress and fresh mint, all dressed with lemon juice. Let's get in there. Let's have a little go. Look at that. Gorgeous. The harmony of the onions and the apple is brilliant. You know, often when you lower fat in meatballs, it goes dry. Horrible. Not here. We've gained and we've gained not just flavour, but nutrition. As far as meatballs go, they are really, really good. Go and have a go at those. So let's start off with the first ingredient. We're going to use some sausages. I've got 4 chipolatas. Health experts recommend that we don't eat more than 70 grams of processed meats per day, but we're using less than that. Fry your chipolatas in a little extra virgin olive oil. Chuck in a teaspoon of fennel seeds, which are traditionally used to help digestion, and a nice sprinkle of dried chili flakes. Then I'm going to go for about half of one of these. And I'm just going to dice it up, roughly around that sort of size. And as you're cutting them, throw them in to the sausage. Squash is a source of vitamin C, and keeping the skin on ramps up the fibre. Next, it's in with 2 diced white onions. Then let's use some dried oregano, more flavonoids going in. Any excuse for flavour and the good stuff. Gently fry together for 15 to 20 minutes with a lid on, until they start to just colour nicely. And look at that. Caramelisation, intensity of flavour. This is going to be amazing. Time for the wine. I'm using a glass of Chianti. In we go. So we'll stir that in, and red wine risotto is not that common, but it's amazing, so I need you to know about it. Now, of course, we're still able to benefit from the flavonoids in the grape juice because they're fairly heat resistant. And if you're cooking for kids, just leave the wine out. In with the arborio risotto rice. 300 grams will easily feed 4. Next, add your stock, 1 ladle at a time. The better the quality, the better it's going to taste. We'll probably add about 1.5 litres of stock. Chicken stock, veg stock, whatever stock you've got, it will still be delicious. So I'm turning the heat down now so it's a nice, steady simmer, okay? If it boils too hard, you evaporate too much stock, and you kind of rush the outer side of the risotto rice, and the inner part is a little bit nutty, a little bit too firm. Let's have a little taste. Oh, we're getting there. Immense, immense flavour. The risotto's been bubbling along for about 15 minutes, so time for the final ingredients. Now, I'm using chicory here for a couple of reasons. This recipe, I'd normally use radicchio, but it seems to be getting harder and harder to get hold of it in the supermarkets. But the red chicory, no, you can get it in the supermarkets. Look it out. And also, this is an amazing prebiotic. What does that mean? It makes your gut really happy, really happy. So we're going to use that with gusto. 2 or 3. Chicory, like radicchio, is classically a tiny bit bitter. But the bitterness here, with the sweetness of the squash, is going to be amazing. Next, something that will promote risotto to the superfood division without losing the indulgence: cottage cheese. I never used to like cottage cheese, but to be honest, I didn't really understand it. It's a naturally low-fat cheese, but you've got the curds here that have the most beautiful mozzarella-like texture. But around it is this kind of milky texture, and that is going to give this risotto amazing silkiness, and this is going to eat really, really well. First, in with the chicory, then the cottage cheese. Delicious. Please, please try this dish, okay? Because it's nuts good. This is an off-the-chart risotto. A couple more minutes, and it's good to go. That's what we want. We want that sensation, right? Where it's just kind of lipping like that. All right, so maybe don't do that. Yeah, maybe use a spoon. Whack a lid on and leave your risotto to relax for a minute before doling it out into warm bowls. This, my friends, is a gorgeous, oozy risotto. You don't want it thick or after. Something that's really silky and beautiful. I'm just going to finish that with a nice, long grating of Parmesan and a little pinch of fresh thyme. And that is a thing of beauty. Creamy risotto with sausage, squash and chicory. A surefire crowd pleaser at just 600 calories with 2 of your 5 fruit and veg a day. Delicious, deep flavour. And you know, for me, the spirit of superfood as a concept is about, you know, balance, getting the veg in there, lowering the meat, upping the quality. And the missus, she loves this a lot. But please give it a go. Amazing. I want to show you some different ways to use barley because I really want you to all go out and buy some. All that wonderful fibre, protein and the beta-glucans that we know improve our heart. And today I'm going to use it to go alongside a vintage, old school Guinness and steak stew. This hearty dinner with tender beef chunks, served with beautiful barley and steamed greens, is a brilliantly balanced bowl of goodness that your family can feast on. So, to kick off this casserole, get a large pan on a medium-high heat. We're going to go in with a tablespoon of olive oil, and I'm going to add 100 grams of silver skin pickled onions, and loads of us have got these in the fridge, probably from Christmas, that's when I have them. They're peeled, ready and raring to go. And because these are pickled, the acidity throughout the cooking of this stew is an amazing gift, and they give you such a little kick of zing. Then we're going to go regular white or red onion into little petals. I'm going to pick a few little bits of thyme. You could use sage, rosemary, bay, pick whatever you want. It's starting to fry. We're getting some colour and some attitude happening. It's kind of like layering up. Next, for some chunky winter veg, starting with 3 carrots. Just centimetre slice. You want them big because it's going to cook for a couple of hours. So you want the veg to stand up to that cooking. It's already looking really, really splendid. Now, I've got a nice everyday veggie here, celery. These lovely outer sticks are fantastic for soups and stews and casseroles. And the heart here, that is the best bit. So often people chuck this bit away, right? No. The best bit is that, right? Look into that. Look how beautiful that is. Slice the heart and chunk up 2 to 3 sticks of the outer celery. I'll save some of the yellow leaves to garnish with later. Then I want 800 grams of swede. Often underloved, so I'm just going to cut that in half, and I just want to do nice kind of inch or 2 centimetre chunks like that. Just peel it, slice it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now you could swap this out for celeriac. You could put, you know, all sorts of veggies in here, pumpkin in the autumn. React to what's around, and I think what's brilliant about this is it's not about kind of fashionable kind of health food. It's not wheatgrass, it's not quinoa. Mate, it's barley. It's stewing cuts of meat. It's root veg. And it's just as delicious and nutritious. And, you know, it means that this beautiful food is for everyone, and that is the most important thing. Finally, add 20 grams of rehydrated dry porcini mushrooms, 1.5 litres of chicken stock or beef stock, and half a bottle of Guinness. This is a porter-style beer, and a porter was invented for porters working in the markets. It really was supposed to be sustenance. All the alcohol will cook away, by the way, but dark flavours, malty, really working well with the veg and the beef. Next, the meat, keeping the quantity low but the quality high. So I want to show you a cut of meat maybe some of you haven't seen before. It's a skirt steak. I've got 500 grams here, and just having chunks of this is really nice. It's going to be so tender. Skirt steak is leaner than many cuts of beef. Plus, it's high in the mineral zinc. So it's really ticking all the boxes here for a wonderful superfood stew. Season and cover with some damp greaseproof paper. I'm gonna whack it in the oven for about 2 hours. And I'm gonna cook that at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And there you go, a beautiful little casserole. It's gonna be great. Now for the real hero of this dish, barley. An ingredient that's been around for hundreds of years. And it's a cheap, easy superfood ingredient that we can all get our hands on. I'm gonna cover 450 grams in a nice amount of water. And when the stew has just 45 minutes of cooking left, gently boil. Casserole in, pearl barley ready, happy days. 2 hours later, we're in a great place. The pearl barley has been boiling away here for the last sort of 45 minutes. Have a little look, it's plumped up, it's lovely. And while that pan's on, that's an excuse to put a colander there, and I've steamed, just for 5 minutes, some beautiful veggies. So I've just got chards, kales, Savoy cabbage, nice leafy greens, okay? So we don't want to overcook it. We're cooking it really, really pure and nice. The stew, which has been ticking along in the oven, is also ready. Very exciting. There you go. Comforting food. Food that just makes you feel great. And you can see how the meat is just flaking and pulling apart like that. Absolutely delicious. And the thing is this, right? We've used less red meat and a leaner red meat, but we've bulked it out and made a beautiful, tasty dish. That's great. Time to serve up. Drain the barley, and then I've got a great tip to turn this hero ingredient into a firm family favourite. What I'm going to do is add 1 or 2 teaspoons of mustard, depending on how you like it, right? So I'm going to go 2 actually today. That is fantastic with a little cheese. Now I'm going to use 20 grams as a kind of seasoning, right? It gives you the most terrific, silky, delicious barley. A little salt and pepper, and we are ready and raring to go. Whoever said being healthy had to be boring or restrictive? You're going to be absolutely stuffed full of the good stuff. Pimped up barley, so tasty and so good for you. Old school beef and Guinness stew, soft and comforting. A nice big steaming wodge of greens. Simple, wholesome, good food. And all for under 600 calories per portion. Absolutely gorgeous. That barley is unbelievable. Everything that we love about mashed potato and rice, but this lowers cholesterol. It's a game changer, and most importantly, delicious. So let me show you how to make a tomato sauce, but guys, not a normal tomato sauce. Let's make a superfood tomato sauce. Pour in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil on a medium heat, 2 sliced cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and fry the lot for a minute. Into that aromatic mix with onions, celery, carrots, courgettes, red peppers, leeks and butternut squash, skin on. It'll cook down nicely. In the Oliver household, this 7-veg tomato sauce is pretty much always in our freezer. And we use it for simple pasta dishes, spaghetti penne. You can put it in stews, you can put it in curries. You get the drift, right? I'm gonna just, on a medium heat, cook it down, and after 20 minutes, it looks like this. So this is just pure, natural flavour. The sweetness comes out, and you've earned that through patience. So, you know, this isn't Monday to Friday, I'm busy running all over the place. For me, weekend, put it on, get on with other stuff, do whatever you gotta do. We're gonna add 4 tins of tomatoes. Now, a quick tip on tomatoes. You can get passata, it's fine. You can get chopped tomatoes, they're doing you a favour. But if you want the A-grade tomatoes, always buy plum tomatoes, okay? We need about 2 tins of water, so half fill the empties and swirl around the remaining juices. Simmer for 25 minutes or until the sauce is reduced. At this point, we've added no salt at all, so let's have a taste. Now, salt's an interesting one, right? Because we don't want to have too much salt in our diet. But by committing to cooking from fresh, on average, your salt consumption is going to be way down. At this point, we want to season with salt, and of course, this is going to have way less salt than many of the pre-bought sauces that you're going to get. And that's it. Just cool it, blitz it smooth, and Bob's your uncle. Bag it up, squeeze out the air, and follow me to the freezer. This kind of stuff weirdly makes me happy. I think I'm getting old, OK? What we've got is we'll freeze these down, and then you've almost got like a little library. And you've got an instant sauce any day of the week, superfood, super fast. Now the question is, what do you do with it? And I've got an amazing recipe that my family love. These perfect pasta parcels smothered in mouth-watering 7-veg sauce have got 3 of your 5 a day and only 536 calories a portion. This is something that is just a lovely thing to do at the weekend. In a way, it's a kind of another batch cook recipe because you can do a batch and freeze ravioli and cook from frozen, and the Italians do it and it's brilliant. Get yourself 300 grams of fine ground Italian flour. Make a well in the middle and fill it with 3 free-range eggs. And that's all you need. I do this with my little kids and we have so much fun, but it's basically making edible Play-Doh. You can whiz the dough together in a food processor, but I prefer to use my hands. Knead it till really smooth on a floured surface. Cling film it and let it rest for about half an hour. Now, let's have a look at the filling, starting with the butternut squash. Dry roast in the oven for an hour at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit. And then we've got ricotta here, which is 1/3 of the fat of a hard cheese. So this is delicious fresh, but I've got a nice little tip for you. What I did was put that ricotta in the squash halfway through, and what happens, you can see it just tightens up and it becomes deeply crumbly. Lose the skin and seeds and add 15 grams of finely chopped basil. Mash this tasty trio together and season it. So there you go, that is, my friends, your filling. So let's do the fun bit. We've got the dough here. Of course, using a machine is kind of easier, but just to show that you can do it with a rolling pin. Break off some dough on a floured surface, get it about 1 millimetre thick and about 12 centimetres wide. And that'll hold a heaped teaspoon of filling nicely. Brush on some water and seal. Squeeze out the air, and that is your basic ravioli. You can just use a crinkle cutter and you're gonna have that. Just beautiful. So with the dough you've made, you'll probably get about 24 parcels of goodness. You're always going to do a couple of scruffy ones. Don't get stressed about it. You're going to do some beautiful ones too. I'm going to cook them gently in boiling salted water for about 2 minutes and let them have a dip in the 7-veg tomato sauce. For me, this kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. It's the kind of food of my childhood. The only difference is my ravioli came out of a tin, and it probably wasn't balanced and it definitely wasn't a superfood, but this is. Let's top these champs off with rocket, parmesan, and a delicate drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Now that's what I call a plate of joy. With 3 of your 5 fruit and veg a day and only 536 calories a portion, super healthy family food with enough in the freezer to dine another day. Oh, this is so heavenly this weekend. Just give it a go. You're gonna love it. Oh. This is a delicious, delicious dish that has 5 of your fruit and veg in one dish. How's this for a superfood family dinner to die for? Smoky veggie chili with some nifty nutritional pulses and a Swiss-inspired twist. I've got my traditional kind of casserole-type pan. Let's whack it on a medium heat. Nice. But what I've done is I've put a griddle pan on the heat, okay? High heat. And we're gonna start charring up stuff. I'm gonna quarter 2 onions, break them up into the griddle pan, and char them for 3 minutes. And then in the other pan, on a slightly lower heat, we're gonna go in with the flavour base. Kicking it off, a tablespoon of olive oil, a heaped teaspoon of cumin seeds, 2 finely sliced garlic cloves, and 1 or 2 fresh chilies if you can handle the heat, and 2 heaped teaspoons of smoked paprika and cocoa powder. It has the ability, cocoa, in this dish, to round off all the flavours and make it as one. I love it. And then last but not least, a tablespoon of peanut butter goes into this base. So we'll mix that up. That is the welcoming party to all of these lovely grilled veggies. It's dark, it's got spice, it really is unusual, but you're gonna love it. And you know, I'll put chilli in this when I think whether it's kids or just fussy eaters, you can't just throw them into the deep end of a big, sort of robust, exciting dish. You might have to just pull it back a little bit on the spice and just sort of slowly, you know, ramp it up, you know, introduce different veggies. But that's the kind of spirit, right? That's why this dish is so great. You can kind of fade it up and down to your own personal preferences. Into the pot with the charred onions. And next in line for a good griddling, 3 mixed peppers. This'll give them a lovely smoky background flavour. It's not your everyday, like, chili, right? It's different. I really like this kind of prepping here, charring here, and building the story there. It's a really nice way to cook. So in we go with the peppers. Straight in with the red ones. It's definitely worth not skipping this stage, okay? Because when you dry toast and grill stuff, especially if it's on a barbecue, you achieve all these new flavours. Cut 600 grams of sweet potatoes into 1 centimetre slices, skin on, and they'll cook down beautifully. Finely slice a bunch of coriander, saving some leafy bits till last. Get the sweet potatoes into the mix, followed by 3 tins of plum tomatoes. Swirl them out and put in 2 tins of water. The last thing I'm going to put in here is beans. I've got some lovely beans here, butter beans. I'm going to go over to my stew and I'm going to put in the juice. And if you put the beans into the griddle pan, give it a shake and just don't touch it, they'll start to pop and split. Now, why would I do that? Texture. When I was a kid, my mum used to put kidney beans in a chili con carne and I'd pick them all out because they were slimy little things, right? But if you look now, the inside is fluffy. We've got flavour. That ain't no slimy bean right there, guys. That is a bean with attitude. You see, I know I'm a little bit weird because I actually, when I cook, I do watch it like telly. I do go into the oven and I watch things rise and caramelise and cook. And sometimes I bring my kids over and say, look at that, look at that. And they look at me like, you are so boring. But I don't care. I love it. Look, we know for a fact that Brits don't eat enough beans, right? The Koreans eat 10 times more than us, okay? So next time you go to the supermarket, have a look. Get 1, 2, 3, 4 different beans, get them in your cupboard. And next time you do any kind of chilli or stew, have a little pop-up, get it in there. Little ways of getting the good stuff into your everyday cooking. This is what it's all about. It's not just about my recipes, it's about some of the kind of thoughts, some of the attitudes, up in the veg, getting the beans in there. Just get that into your own cooking. Get the pot butter beans into the veg, give it a season, and it's ready for the oven. Now here's a little kitchen hack for you. Cover the pot with greaseproof paper. The greaseproof paper just kind of allows it to slowly sort of cook down and evaporate, but kind of stops it from doing it too quickly. Along with 8 small baking potatoes, the chili is going to cook for an hour in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. So the chili's had an hour. Let's get in there and have a little look. Oh, yes. Seasoned to perfection, stir in the coriander, and this beauty is ready to serve. Straight in with the veg. Grate a little cheddar cheese over the jackets, and for another hit of dairy, natural yogurt. Taken to the next dimension with a pinch of smoked paprika. And a final flourish of coriander. A good, honest, wholesome plate full of food for a hearty dinner, and only 445 calories to boot. That is so good. Deep in flavour. You've got 5, yes, 5 of your fruit and veg a day in one portion right there. Easy, home run, do it.